from what you see. You say I'm normal, but what does that mean? Shine a light on me, shine a light on me, shine a light on me, oh let me be. 'Cause there's a light in me, no matter what you see. Shine a light on me, oh let me be.
Welcome back to another episode of Anthony Meets. I've got my leathers on today, and if I said to you, leather, blonde, rock and roll, and an absolute rocket, I'm pretty sure you would already have an image in your mind, and I'm not even going to drag it out. Suzi Quatro, how the devil are you?
I'm fine. I'm fine. I couldn't be better. I'm very excited about my new project. So doing all the press and stuff now, you know. Yeah, and
Yeah,
I don't have my leathers on. So you can wear them instead of me today.
it's not a cat suit, sadly. Unfortunately, it's not a cat suit, as much as I would love it to be. The new single, I've got to go straight there. I mean, I don't want to say this because sometimes, you know, when you're interviewing people, you've got to say, oh, the music's great. And sometimes you haven't even really heard it. We all know that, right?
Yeah.
But I have played, I got a copy sent through to me, the press. I have played it over and over and over and over. It is gorgeous, and it kind of almost feels familiar. And I think it's probably because of you and KT on it, kind of thing, that maybe that's what it is. But how did it all come about?
Well, we were both fans of each other, but we didn't know it.
Right.
So, you know how these things happen. So we were. I was watching the rough cut of my documentary Suzi Q, which came out at the end of 2019, and all of a sudden KT was on, and I went, oh. So we had a mutual friend who did all the footage for the video for the Shine a Light, and he said, would you like to try to get you two together? I said, I'd love that. So she called me.
Wow.
And she invited me to the London studio, and we had lunch together. And pretty much within about 15, 20 minutes, we were buzzing. We were buzzing.
Wow.
And she asked me to write one track with her. And she gave me a riff, and I wrote it. I finished it. I didn't mean to finish it. She said I did. I didn't. And one thing led to another. And the next thing you know, she's here staying overnight, and we're writing songs.
Oh,
And
wow.
it was magic right from the start.
Yeah.
So we tend to talk on a deep level. We talk about a subject, and then as we're talking, all of a sudden the song presents itself.
Yeah.
So Shine a Light, we were talking about being very philosophical, and it's my mantra that everybody has a light, and you need to find that light and let it shine. It's my mantra. Doesn't matter what you do or what that light is, it's your light. So we're talking about that, and then we got into the subject of how fame doesn't change you. It changes the people around you, how they treat you. So we went into all this thing, and I said, yeah, you know, I need to shine a light. We went song, boom.
Brilliant.
Came flying out. And at the end, when we were done with it, she looked at me and she went, number one. I went, number one.
Oh,
Of everything we'd written, it was our favorite. Very stinkingly commercial. But it has a message.
Yeah,
which I'm sure is why you're playing it so much. It speaks to you, doesn't it?
It does. And I'm what you just said there really did actually, you've hit a nerve there with me in a really good way. So the first half of my life was kind of media centric, so doing a bit of telly, bit of radio, etc., etc., etc. But I've just qualified as a barrister, and I'm working as a university lecturer and doing little bits of media on the side. And a lot of my people from here are here, and they've all stayed the same. But when I meet new people now, it is a completely different interaction. And when you said that, it doesn't change you, but it does change the people around you. My God, that is so true, isn't it?
It is so true. And you have to deal with that.
Yeah.
You have to deal with that. You know, that's why that line is there. You say I'm down to earth from what you see, and you say I'm normal. What does that mean? We talked about all this. You know, what did you expect? What did you expect? Just because you've become successful at your chosen profession
Yeah.
doesn't mean to say that you think you're better than anybody else. See, this is what we talked about. And there was the song. You know, I
Yeah.
love the opening line because this it says it all to me. Opportunity to knock down my door. I chose to let it in.
Ah, yeah.
People
Yeah.
forget that you do have to let it in. Like, oh, I missed my chance of this and that. Yeah, but you have to open the door.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know?
Yeah, and actually, that's something that I speak a lot actually with my students about, which is a fear of success. Quite often, we talk about procrastination, and we talk about, so that's emotional dysregulation and all that sort of stuff. But actually, quite often, it's not a fear of failure. It can be a fear of success.
Oh, absolutely. That's
Yeah,
absolutely true.
yeah,
I know a lot of people, they get to the starting line and then they fall,
yeah,
you know?
yeah. The
So,
imposter syndrome takes over, doesn't it?
yeah, sure, sure. No, that is a very real thing. Yeah.
It really is, and it's the thing that I mean, I'm not struggling with it because I'm aware of it, but it's something that I am very aware. And what you said there about, when you're becoming successful, and people sometimes get a bit full of themselves. I'm actually the opposite way around, and when I'm introduced as, oh, this is Anthony, he's a barrister or whatever, and I see people immediately sort of stand up straight
Yeah.
and speaking slower and
Yeah.
trying really hard to be academic, and I'm like, no, 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 love, no.
You need an ego room like I have. I have an ego room on the third floor where I
Right?
keep, yeah. I go in and then I come out and shut the door. It's brilliant.
I love it. If you don't mind, I'd love to go a bit backwards, back a bit, and I kind of want to go around circa 19, I think it was 1973. And I read this article today where you were interviewed by a chap, and I have to keep reminding myself that it was 1973 and attitudes were different. But it was a male interviewer interviewing you, and he was talking about feminism, and he was asking you questions because I think at the time you weren't particularly motivated to join big groups of women. You didn't feel the need to.
I'm a meism, not from. I'm a meism. I've always said that.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That was it. That was it. And he kind of, in his article, was, I find him really condescending actually. But it was mansplaining, and kind of almost like he was going to be the arbiter of whether you could be a champion of women and women's rights or that sort of thing. And unless you join this big group, sure, what are you anyway? But what I read from you in that interview was somebody who wasn't taking any shit.
So that's absolutely true. And I don't take any shit.
Yeah.
I don't suffer fools gladly. I don't take any shit from anybody. And if you don't want to know my answer, don't ask me the question.
Yeah. Yeah.
Never learned the art of bullshit. I've never learned it. I will tell you exactly how I feel. And if I want to tell you something, I don't have to go a little bit left, a little bit right. I'll tell you straight.
Good.
And I'm very Detroit that way.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I love it. And I really felt that coming through. And I thought to myself, actually, so when I go back and I think, well, okay, this is the 70s and things were on the change and all that sort of thing. But it would have been bloody hard for you. I mean, when I think about it from a commercial perspective and your management and your labels and all the rest, I imagine it would have been hard for you to be that direct and sort of get away with it, so to speak.
I don't know any other way to be.
Yeah.
I think this is what set me apart from everybody.
Yeah.
I've always been outspoken. I've always believed in me. I mean, even when I first met Mickey, he came to the Mickey Mouse. He gave me my solo career. He came to the gig, and I did 2 songs only. I did Jailhouse Rock and Brain Confusion, one I wrote. And he calls me to the back of the hall, typical me, and he says, how would you like to make an album? And I said, who are you? I knew who he was, but that's who are you? Yeah. I'm Mickey Mouse. Oh, really? What do you do?
Whatever it is, I'm not buying, honey.
Yeah, I didn't want to be too impressed, Yeah. No, I've never been backwards and coming forwards. It's just not my nature.
Good. How did you get that way? Was it you just were born that way? Did life make you that way, or?
Well, my theory is, when you come from a big family like it, 5 kids, you do search for your voice.
Yeah.
Because it's always you're one of the kids, and it can make you crave something of your own. So because I didn't fit in anywhere, I wasn't like that. I wasn't like that. I wasn't like, and I used to try to find this niche. I had no niche.
Yeah.
So if you have no niche to fit in, you make your own. So I became this person. Oh, no wonder I'm not like anybody else, because I'm like this.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it made sense to me.
Yeah.
I couldn't fit in any, I wasn't totally feminine. I was more tomboy. I thought differently. I acted differently. My husband always says to me, you are a one-off.
Yeah.
And when my dad visited one time, he'd visited many times, one time in particular, I remember he was sitting in the kitchen. He said, oh boy, Susie, when they made you, they threw away the mold. And before I could say thank you, he said, thank goodness.
Oh, isn't that lovely? Isn't it lovely to get that approval? We actually fall in the same place, by the way. So I'm the second youngest of five, and I have three sisters.
You understand what I mean?
So when you say I'm with you,
you had to find your voice.
I have to find
And once you find it, I'll tell you what, you will never let it go.
No, I never have, much to the dismay of the others.
Again, the song, Shine a Light on Me or Let Me Be.
Yeah, absolutely.
This is what we talked about. It's coming up again in conversation.
Yeah.
I'm very much this kind of thinker.
Yeah, I love it. I mean, I want to open about 6 bottles of wine right now. I think we could put a night in very easily. But I mean, looking at the music industry, I mean, it's you have come through all of its developments, and we're now in the digital age, so to speak. How are you feeling about that?
About all the digital stuff?
Yeah, I mean,
it's crap.
Yeah.
But it is what it is. You can't change it. So let me
Right.
say that. But it has to be addressed. And I know a lot of big artists are talking about it. The artist is now at the bottom of the food chain, and this is not correct.
Right.
Not correct. But
Yeah.
you can't change it. So you have to roll with it. You know, I mean, at least now the streaming counts in the charts and blah, blah, blah. So I mean, Channel Light's done a lot of streams. You know, a lot of people have watched the video. But CDs are really kind of out of favor now, really.
Yeah.
I know vinyl's coming back a bit, but you can't even, my husband told me you can't even buy, if you buy a new vehicle, you now can't buy a CD player to go on that vehicle.
Yeah.
So it's changed. It has changed.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I've interviewed quite a few music stars, and you know, and it is the same story over and again, ripped off by management and then digital sales, and you know.
It's just wrong. It's just wrong because this is your creation.
Yeah.
You've written this, you've put it out, you know. So I know that they are trying to address it. They are trying to do that. So
yeah.
Otherwise people just stop making music, and you don't want that.
We don't want that. We definitely don't want that. So the title of this magazine is Queerforty. Okay. So it's primarily anybody sort of under the LGBTQ umbrella, 40 plus. So we're the audience that has come through the days when it was definitely not very cool to be LGBT. Then it was very cool, and now we're kind of back in that sort of gray. Most people are okay, but that's kind of changing and diminishing. But it was another interview about you that I read, and it triggered a thought in me, and it kind of falls into the Me Too kind of thing, but not quite. And you were talking about sort of, you know, being a female in a male world, and I find a lot actually, as a gay man in straight men's company, two things always happen. At the beginning of the evening, they give me permission to be gay. That's okay, mate. I've nothing against you. Just don't do nothing on me. Now, these are often people, you know, pot-bellied pigs with more tattoos than teeth.
Sure.
You know, and you're thinking,
you know what your answer is, as if I would want to.
Yeah, thanks, thanks so much. And then by the end of the night, I'm usually trying to get them off me at some point. And they presume, bless them, that of course, because you're gay, you must fancy me. It's an automatic. And I suspect a lot of females in the music industry and movies and all the rest, same thing, right? How did you deal with it?
I don't care.
Yeah.
Care what your persuasion is. In fact, Mickey Mouse told me just at the beginning, I come over here and he's, you know, working with me and waiting for the fame to come. And he said to me, just as his first hit record started, this is why I understand it so well. He said, you, for some reason, are going to appeal
Yeah.
to straight men, straight women, gay men, gay women. He said, you have a little piece for everybody, and I don't even know what it is you've got,
Yeah.
but you appeal to all the genders.
Yeah.
So I don't think about it. I guess I do have all that. And
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
don't mind. It doesn't bother me. Even if a woman comes on to me or something, so what? It's a compliment, you know? You
Yeah.
say yes, you say no. I'm
Yeah.
not gay, so I say no, but it doesn't bother me.
Yeah.
A
But
lot of
I mean,
a lot of friends.
more sort of in terms of where you would have probably more so men, I would presume, because you're working in their world in those days, kind of A, giving you the permission to be there first and foremost, and then B, presuming that you're going to put out for them. You know, I imagine you would have come up, you were sex personified, the leather catsuit, the rock and roll. I mean, I would probably get a couple of gins in me and chase you around the room. Right? But, you know, so you're bound to have had that happen. And I just wonder, you know, I think one of the things that you said in your, I think it was about a TV presenter had patted your bum or something like that on live on air.
That's in the documentary.
Yes, that's it.
So many people have asked me about that, and I have to explain it because
Yeah.
I am a professional. I am a pro. Whatever I do it professional. It's the only way I know how to work. And I had just won Rear of the Year.
Yes, that's right. That's it. Yes.
And, you know, it's a live TV show. Russell Hardy, live TV. He was gay, Russell Hardy. And he said, oh, you just let's see this famous backside. So I stood up, you know, and he went like that. Now, my natural reaction would have been to hit him.
Yeah.
Don't touch somebody without being invited to. But as I was turning back around, my thought process was, and I turned around slowly and sat back down. I thought, okay, he didn't mean anything by it.
Yeah.
This is a live TV show. I can either react or I can let it go. If I react, it could turn back on me. Is she precious? What's the matter with her?
Right. Sure.
So by the time I sat down, I let it go because that was professional.
Yeah.
But if he had done that backstage, he would have been singing soprano.
Yeah. Yeah.
He got away with it because it was on a live show.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it could have turned back on me that I looked just too precious for words. Why can't I take a joke? Ha ha ha.
Yeah.
Anyway, I don't like things like that. You should, in my book, you don't touch somebody unless you're invited to.
No, I totally agree.
I would never do it. I would never do it. And I've got a very quick wit, obviously, through the years in the business. I can kill a man at 10 paces. I can. Just one line.
Yeah.
And I don't suffer fool's gladly, and I don't allow these things to happen.
Yeah.
One guy got away with it. I've told this story before, but it is funny. We were at a German television show, appearing with AC/DC.
Yeah.
And we were walking, I was walking up the stairs, and Angus Young was behind me. And he pinched my ass. And I turned like this. And he went, genuinely, he went, I'm sorry. I couldn't help myself. And I went, oh. Said, okay. I said, that's your one shot. That's it. Don't do it again. And he would never do it again. But he actually meant it. You could see how horrified he was that he actually did that.
Yeah. And I suppose as well, actually, I mean, I have to say to myself as well, like I just said a minute ago, the times were different and presumptions were different and permissions were different, weren't they? You know, those kinds of things. Yeah. I mean, I find myself quite often in gay clubs getting into arguments with people like, that's not a handle, and you've about 3 seconds to let it go.
Yes.
You
exactly.
know, yeah.
I just don't understand that attitude. I have never been that way.
Yeah. No.
I don't even flirt. I'm not even a flirt. And my kids always crack up. They say, Mom, you don't know how to flirt. I don't, because it's a game and I don't play games.
Yeah.
That's why.
Yeah.
If I want somebody, I want somebody. I'm not flirting with you. I want you.
Yeah.
Done.
Yeah. Is this you flirting with me, Suzi? Are you flirting with me now?
Sorry?
Are you flirting with me now? Is it
I don't flirt.
Do you want me to?
If I was wanting you, you would know it, believe me.
I know. Oh, well, damn it. I can't tell that story at a dinner party then. So I mean, the new music, like we've just mentioned it, and you've said it yourself. I mean, it's definitely very commercial, right? Okay, that new single. By the way, unapologetically so. It's fantastic. But what's coming next? What's the plans? Have you got?
Okay, so that's out now. There'll be another single following this. The album comes out in August. It's called
Yeah.
Face to Face, and you're gonna love it. Everybody's loving it. It's a journey, and it's a journey of two people who came together unexpectedly, cut from the same cloth, daring to become vulnerable to each other.
Oh, the vulnerable word. Oh.
And I mean, we went the distance. Sometimes
Right.
it was uncomfortable, but we went there. I pulled it
Okay.
out of her, she pulled it out of me, and we just wrote this most fantastic album.
Wow. Oh, I can't wait. I can't wait for that. And poetry as well, actually, Susie.
I do poetry a lot. I've got 2 poetry books out.
Yeah.
One is called Through My Eyes, and the other is called Through My Heart. Through My Heart, I think, is my finest work. I really dug deep. And I've got another one, Through My Words, which is a lyric book. And another one, these are all coffee table illustrated. Through The Hurricane, my autobiography Unzipped, and I'm working on my second novel right now. It's nearly done.
Girl, how do you even begin to find the time?
I need to create, communicate, and entertain. That's who I am.
Create, communicate, entertain. Okay, that's going to be my mantra from now on. I mean, it is my life, actually, if I'm fair, but I just need to admit it, maybe.
Yeah. Yeah. You got to do what makes you happy.
Yeah, I like that.
I don't do small talk. I don't do small talk. If I'm going to talk to you, I'm going to talk to you.
Yeah. And do you know, I always find small talk really awkward. And I'm known, I'm known for, in those kinds of situations, all of my friends would tell you, the innuendo, I go into innuendo mode because I just get so awkward and think, right, I've got to make everybody laugh. And then it normally ends with me going like this at some point of, I'm just totally ashamed of myself.
You do know what an innuendo is, don't you?
Yes, innuendo.
It's an Italian suppository.
Yeah. Where do you put it, Susie?
Innuendo. Sorry, that's bad. Oh, bad.
It's not even nighttime yet. Which reminds me, the Daily Joke.
Oh, did you like that?
I like the Daily Joke. Yes, it's on Instagram.
Yes.
Yes.
Rude one. It's rude, but it's funny. It's one of my favorites. Why did Mickey Mouse leave Minnie Mouse?
No idea.
Because he found out she was fucking goofy.
Nobody wants a goofy bitch.
I love that.
Oh, I love it. One you talked there about actually. So when you first met Mickey, and then you came to England, and you pretty much lived in your hotel room, yeah, just you and the bass guitar. I think it was a few jumpers and a jacket, right? And when I was thinking about that, so I've like Northern Ireland accent, living in England, but so I left home quite early and quite a few times to come and live away, kind of thing. And I remember the sense of adventure, and the vulnerability and the fear and all those different sorts of things. But the creativity, definitely the ability to go to different levels when you're that exposed is really,
it's really quite something
remarkable, isn't it?
Yeah. It's how you learn. It's how you learn.
Yeah.
You got to, I believe in total exposure. Somebody said it to me. I was talking to somebody. I had just met him and I was having my normal kind of deep conversation. He said, you're very open. And I said, yes.
Yeah.
He said, you can get hurt. I said, yes. Oh, then he didn't have anything more to say.
Very good. Yeah.
You can get hurt. Yes, you can.
Yeah.
But you get hurt a lot more if you're closed.
Yeah.
Because if you're closed, you don't get out and nobody gets in. And that's a shame.
Big self-sabotage there, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, totally. And I was wondering then, actually, when it comes to the creative side, so I mean, you're writing novels, you're writing poetry, you're writing music. Do you need to recreate that kind of scenario, or is it just an omnipresent, actually,
here
I am?
I am always in that mode. I've got my antennas always up. I'm always just feeling everything. I feel everything in the air. I'm starting my third poetry book now. There's about 8 poems in there already. I can't seem to stop. I've always got something to say.
Right. And would well, this it's probably a really stupid question actually, but is there such thing as a stupid question? Who knows? The default setting. So if somebody said, right, we're creating a Suzi Quatro doll, okay, and she's going to be totally open about emotions and all the rest, what would be her default emotion?
Do you mean where I would shut down?
No, default being the one that's kind of the most that it's there all the time. So whenever you're coming to creativity and stuff, where it begins.
That's easy. My heart is always on my sleeve.
Yeah.
Always.
Yeah.
I don't know how to lie. My face, unfortunately, shows every emotion I possess. So I have no choice but to be honest.
Yeah.
And I do, as strong as I am, I do hurt easy.
Yeah.
But I'm strong because I will allow the hurt to come. I'll walk through the fire, I'll let it burn me, and I'll go out the other side and keep going.
Yeah. Well, isn't that what strength is? Isn't that what strength is?
It is. I think so.
It's withstanding, isn't it? It's getting through. It's not being
getting through it. Getting through it. But not denying yourself, not to be afraid of hurting. There's nothing wrong with being hurt. You know, that's okay. Yeah. And I remember we were sitting in the kitchen again with my dad. He must be around today. But,
I love that you said that, by the way.
He said something, and I said to him, Dad, that hurt my feelings. And he said, Suzi, you have to toughen up. And I said, how?
Mm.
He had nothing more to say. And it's one of the poems in my second poetry book.
Please send that to me. I'd love to read that, actually. Yeah, I love that. I love that you said that he's with you as well. I love that. If you could, so looking at I mean, I don't want to do the world's a terrible place, because it's not a terrible place. The world's full of absolutely wonderful things right now. But our political world is a bit bonkers, to say the least. And everything that was kind of safe and kind of accepted and we were all getting on is now kind of topsy-turvy, upside down. And, you know, I don't believe that we should be in a position where we should be telling people that, you know, just suck it up. You've got to be okay with this or that or the other. But I also don't believe that people should be allowed complete wreck and ruin kind of license. If you could give advice to the world right now, so be to the political leaders and you know the divisions of society, I suppose, what would be the advice you would want to give?
I usually stay completely away from politics for one reason, because I think it's an abuse of my position that I have a platform. But I do have many opinions, but I keep them private. But the one thing I do believe in with all my heart and soul is democracy.
Yeah.
Always have, always will. Democratic society.
Yeah. Good.
Called fair. You know, my mom taught me right and wrong. That's it. It's all it is. It's right and wrong.
Yeah.
Black and white. Read the Bible. Yeah. It's all in there. If we could all live like that, we'd be fine, wouldn't we? God, men never learn. People never learn. It's sad. But keep your head above it and just keep moving. Keep moving.
That's it, isn't it? It is. I mean, I find it really hard because of the types of jobs that I have, and you know, I'm surrounded by social media. I really struggle sometimes not to get involved. I really, really do struggle.
I know. I struggle too, but I just don't like Suzi Quatro spouts politics. I think I keep it for myself. And if I'm in a pub, I'll have the conversation. We'll go all night.
Yeah, sure.
The distance, but like I said, I don't want to abuse my position.
No, that's fair.
And do all this, you know. A lot of things I do talk about, but I try to stay out of politics. I do talk about religion. I was born and raised Catholic. But politics is a strange animal. Yeah. It is. I'm not quite sure it's honest, you know.
Yeah, that's it. And I mean, I think actually, you know, I mean, I said politics because it's politicians, but I don't think we're actually really talking about politics, because what you said there a minute ago, democracy, and you know, transparency and decisions being made on reason and logic and for the greater good. If that's what politics is, then we're not talking about politics actually anymore.
Exactly.
That's not what's happening anywhere. No. And I got to say, on both sides,
yeah, sure,
left and right, you know, it's lost the run of itself, hasn't it?
Let's hope it all comes out in the wash.
Yeah, hopefully.
Please
I think
God.
so. I
Yeah.
think so. These things tend to go in phases, right?
They do.
It's just a phase, darling. It's just a phase. But listen, on a happier note, I'm nearly going to do the hairdressers. Got any holidays planned? But is there any downtime? I mean, you've got all this stuff going on. You're now doing press junkets. Are you going to get your head down for a while anytime soon?
Yeah, but not right now. Not because all this is now I'm publicizing the single, and this is going to be a couple weeks of work, and I've done it a million times in my life. So just put my head down and do it. You know.
Brilliant. Suzi, where can people get access to all of your stuff? The albums, the singles, the poetry, the books. Where can we find
It's
them?
all online. You can go online. It's New Haven Publishing for all my books. You can get unzipped. I've got my websites. You know, I'm on Instagram, Suzi Quatro Real. I've got Facebook official and my own private one. I'm on everything. www.suziquatro.com. That's the official website. Okay.
Suzi, you've truly made my day. You were everything I wanted you to be, and a million more. I'm chuffed, absolutely chuffed at the new music and the collaboration. Would I have thought it up? Probably not. Could it be any better? Absolutely not. It's a gorgeous collab, really, truly, and I genuinely mean that.
Thank you very much.
And I wish you every possible single success. And we're here. Anytime you want to come back and chat, let us know.
That's great. Okay.
And we will definitely be shouting about it. Thank you so much. Have a great weekend.
Yeah, you too. And behave yourself. Actually, I'm going to say don't behave yourself.
I have no intention.
Give you permission to not behave yourself. Okay.
Okay, I'm about to start my first recording session with KT. I don't know what the day's going to bring. I can't keep talking all day long, you know, because I'm doing the studio.
So opportunity knocked on my door. I chose to let it in. I picked my backbone off the floor, 'cause I had to fight to win. And now this movie can begin. You say I'm down to earth from what you see. You say I'm normal, but what does that mean? Shine a light on me, shine a light on me, shine a light on me, oh let me be. 'Cause there's a light in me, no matter what you see. Shine a light on me, oh let me be. Words are never written how they read. Tell me, do you really want to know the end? The plot is always thicker than it seems. Oh, mysterious masters we must serve, delivering the lives that we deserve. Well, don't call it luck, oh, that's not its name. If you were me, you'd feel the same. Shine a light on me, shine a light on me, shine a light on me, oh let me
Oh, it's quite nice, actually.